But yeah, let's kick off. Let's kick off with Wuthering Heights. This is in quotation marks. We do not know. Well, I don't know why. I have a very good idea why. But Sharon, take it away. Tell us about Wuthering Heights. And usually, I think I'm going to have to give you and Holly probably about 15 minutes, 15 minutes to talk this through. And I'm just going to sit back in the background and try and get my camera back up. So, Wuthering Heights, Sharon, take it away.
Yeah, Wuthering Heights in speech marks, in quotation marks rather. Yes, it's because it's Emerald. What's her name?
Emerald Fennell.
Fennell. I knew it was some of that. It was because it's her vision of it, based on the impression she got when she first read it when she was a teenage girl. And I think basically that's all you need to know when you watch that film. It is a teenage girl's impression of a dark, psychological, deeply unromantic book, and that only a teenage girl would read it and go, my goodness, that's so romantic. Because as soon as you have a little bit of life experience, as soon as you can read subtlety and nuance, you know that it's not a romantic novel. And I will just draw a parallel to myself with this. I read Rebecca, Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca, when I was a teenager, and I thought that was a deeply romantic a book. And then when you read it later, you think, it's not. So the first impressions are not always the ones that, and when I think Daphne du Maurier was horrified when people used to talk about Rebecca as romantic, and she was like, no, it's not. And I think had Emily Bronte been around now, or had she had that sort of voice at the time of when she was still alive, she would have said, no, you're missing the point. So I get the feeling this is very much so that first impression that has stayed with her, and regardless of what else she's read or seen or whatever since then, that is the impression that has stuck. So that is what I think that's what I'm looking into the mind of the director, because otherwise I would find it inexplicable how anyone could read Wuthering Heights and come up with this.
Yeah, if I could just pop it. Okay, I know I haven't seen the film, but I did listen to a very illuminating interview with her that was done on the Empire Movie podcast, and pretty much everything you said, she confirmed. Everything that you said, she confirmed. So I think it's the thing about it, right? It's like, I know how you guys have come at this, and I know how this adaptation has pushed all the wrong buttons for you guys, but the thing is, listening to her talk about it, she comes across as well. I mean, obviously because of her background and everything, she's quite posh, well read, knows what she's doing, all that kind of stuff. So but everything you said, yes. Well, please carry on.
Yeah. So taking that aside, the story aside, we know the story. It's an orphan boy taken into the home of Catherine Earnshaw and her father. Mm-hmm. He's raised by them, but he's never classed as the same. He's always like a servant boy. He's always slightly less in status.
Yep.
They rise up together. They have this sort of passionate connection. Then things happen and he leaves. And then she gets married to the wealthy neighbor. He then returns as a wealthy man and causes havoc, basically.
Yes.
That's to simplify the story. And then you've got to go into the nuances of it. I thought, to me, it was a mess. I thought it was structurally a mess, and I thought it looked incoherent. I didn't like the visuals. I understand actually that it's quite known for being these sort of stylish visuals. How you get these sort of like deep, vibrant colours, and also you get these silhouettes, these strong visual look. But to me, it didn't. I didn't like it. I didn't think it worked.
Yep.
A lot of the things where they talk about the passionate relationship, I didn't really feel that chemistry. I didn't pick up on the chemistry between the lead actors. I thought they did not look like a good fit. The children did. I thought they'd actually looked not too bad. If you take the side that Kathy was very blonde, when she's not. She's this quite dark-haired girl. She's always a dark-haired girl. She's always referred to like the sort of wild, free spirit. And sort of dark like the Moors, you draw the characteristics of the Moors, which influences everything. When you go to that part of the world and you go to Haworth, they loom large, and the way their landscape looms large. And I didn't get that feeling from this film. Even the Moors, I just don't know how they managed to film the Moors and make them look so flat and make them look so not. They are really majestic. I don't know how they managed to not make them majestic by the way they filmed them. And I just thought the chemistry between Margot Robbie and, for me, Jacob Elordi, it just wasn't there. I did not feel any chemistry. So when I saw some of their like passionate scenes, I felt it was a bit ick.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few times when I was a bit like, oh, that's no, no, that's not right.
Yeah.
That's not right. Don't do that. And and again, one of the scenes, I know it was supposed to make you feel like that, but there's a scene where her husband, Edgar Linton, decorates her bedroom in the color of her skin.
Yeah.
Now that's Edgar wasn't that creepy, but it was literally, it was the most ick thing I'd ever seen. I was just like, oh my goodness me, run! I did not stay in this house. And then the characterizations of some of the other characters in the book, to me, were just caricatures. I did not feel that these people inhabited the real world. They inhabited the cinema, they inhabited this creation, but they're not, they weren't based in any reality.
Yep.
All of the characters were just slightly off, a bit panto, a little bit exaggerated, too exaggerated. So for me, I thought I didn't hate it. It may sound like I did. I didn't actually hate it. I wanted to go in that. When I saw the trailer, I actually thought the trailer wasn't that bad. And I thought, actually, this couldn't be, this might be all right.
Yeah.
But then I was actually watching it, I thought, to me, it felt like a wasted opportunity, and I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. I just didn't think it was a very good film. And some of the sexual imagery throughout, and some of the sort of got their connotations, again, I thought they were a little bit juvenile. And for me, it was just a little bit. To me, it lacked passion because it felt like it was a bit forced, a little bit trying too hard, and that made me feel like it was not erotically charged or wasn't emotionally charged. It felt a little bit flat for me. Holly, I yield.
It's like Sharon, tell us what you really think. So
I first read Wuthering Heights when I was about 13, and remember at the time it feeling romantic, but very rapidly, on knowing literally anything, established that there is nothing romantic about it. It's about two sociopathic individuals who progressively destroy the lives of everybody around them, and they are nasty and unlikable, and they have zero redeeming characteristics, none at all. As somebody said in an online review, they kept reading the book to make sure everybody died. That is a legitimate choice.
And it's sort of third and fourth generation, isn't it? It's not just Kathy and Heathcliff. Yes. It's their children. It's almost like their grandchildren. It's just this toxic
misery.
Yeah.
So, coming into the film, I was immediately irritated by Kathy being blonde and Heathcliff being decidedly white.
Yep.
Because one of the key features of the book is that Heathcliff is described as being dark-skinned, as looking like a Lascar, which would be a sailor from South Asia. Everything about his descriptions is other. And a point of contrast in the book is that the Lintons are meant to be these blonde-haired, blue-eyed, socially aspirational people. And instead, you get the guy who would have been impeccable as Heathcliff playing Edgar. And
that's Shazad Latif.
Yes, who is just marvellous as an actor. I really like him. And suddenly his sister has become his ward for reasons, and you don't get the sweet naivety of her. You don't get the damage done to her. And I saw somebody write that she is probably in some ways the strongest character in the book, but you don't get that through it. So that was an irritation. I found the costumes to be beautiful, really beautiful. I didn't like them. I thought they were massively anachronistic, and they didn't suit the scene because Kathy, as you'd said, is meant to be reminiscent of the Moors. So stark red and white doesn't give you that feeling of nature. It just gives you the sort of jarring contrast, which is impressive if that's what you're trying to do. And it's a stylistic choice. It's one that I didn't like.
It reminded me a little bit of Alice in Wonderland. I felt like the Linton's house and her costuming was more Alice in Wonderland. I didn't think they were flattering to Margot Robbie. Personally, I thought it made her look really hard. And I thought, she's someone who's naturally beautiful. To make your costuming make that character look really hard-faced and look quite brutal in their dress, to me, it didn't work. I thought it needed softening for me. It was just a little bit too brutal. And I thought it made her look really. I didn't think she looked very attractive in this film,
No.
which is shocking when she's such a beautiful woman.
But from what you said, with it sounds like it's kind of like, showing everybody who you are on the inside. It will work for Kathy if you. But anyway, so there's a whole bunch of things. But the thing is, we know that
something to that. But back to sort of characterization and things. So what was interesting is Martin Clunes in it, who actually plays a compressed character that is two different individuals in the book, and I thought he did a very good job of that merging. I think it was a mistake from a story perspective, but I thought if you were going to do it, he was absolutely able to carry that off.
He was
really,
probably the
really
best thing in it. Yeah, I think he was the best thing in it, acting-wise.
I found the sex scenes to be either a bit overblown, a bit silly. The bits that were meant to be somehow erotic were just a bit like, I don't really see what the point of that was. That's either slightly ick or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds like the 50 Shades. It sounds like the 50 Shades effect.
Well, very much so. Yeah. What I did find interesting is it was the most impressive overuse of pathetic fallacy I have ever come across.
You're going to have to explain that.
So, pathetic fallacy is when the weather is used to depict what's going on. So, if you're feeling sad and the heavens
it's raining,
by rain, so there is just the excessive use of rain, and not in a living on moors use of rain, just it's like we're going to pour buckets from the sky way, and so it just
like the ending of the Four Weddings and the Funeral way.
Exactly. It just didn't have the sort of nuance to it, but I could appreciate that it was a beautiful film. I could appreciate that actually it was well acted, but it left me cold. And I thought, and I know the book well. I'm actually rereading it because I wanted to test my own memory. Well, I'm starting to reread it, not very fast. And I'm very clear as to who these people are, what these people are. I think only giving you the first half of the book is sad because the second half of the book is where it gets really interesting. It misrepresents characters. Emerald Fennell, you could have done anything. Also, what irritated me is that she looked at what she was, and she said she looked at all of the romances that have ever inspired her. So things like the film poster, inspired by Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
So there's all of these things where a bit like you've mistaken this for a romance when it isn't, and you're using some really weird imagery here that's doesn't work.
Yeah, did you hear that she cast Jacob Elordi because she saw him on the set of Saltburn with sideburns on, and he reminded her of the picture of Heathcliff on the cover of Wuthering Heights that she read when she was 13, and she kind of thought, ooh, and that was the real main thing that she cast him on.
Which is the shittest reason to cast anybody. Feel free to bleep that out, but nonetheless. It's like casting somebody on the basis of a Mills and Boon cover. I mean, really.
Well, yeah, pretty much that's what she's done. That's what she's done, and that's the poster you're talking about. That's like references Gone with the Wind. I saw it, and I did immediately think Mills and Boon's cover. And you've got
the man looming over the woman, and she's flying.
Yeah, and the shot in the film that you were talking about, I guess when she's in the Linton's house, that it's like when she comes in, I did see that and think that looks like she's going to see the Queen of Hearts in Alice in Wonderland. When she said that, I knew the exact dress. With just seeing the trailer, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought when I saw that. So I mean, there's a question I wanted to ask, which is totally impossible for you guys to say, like. Essentially, it's along the lines of what do you think you would think of this film if you hadn't read the book? But I feel like that's like an impossible question to answer.
I can sort of comment because I went with my friend Jess, who has never read the book.
Okay, cool.
She read a synopsis of it. Thank you, ChatGPT, for your able assistance. And she really enjoyed it. And
okay.
She loved the costumes, and to her it was beautiful, and it didn't have. She didn't come to it with emotional baggage. So I think if I had seen it without having read the book or without thinking it was trying to be the book, I would have liked it a great deal more.
Yeah.
But seeing how they've managed to screw with an effective story that is layered and complex and not romantic and try to turn it into a romance. If you wanted to make 50 Shades of Grey set in, the late 18th century, go for it.
That's Lady Chatterley's lover, though.
Lady Chatterley was late 19th century. So,
okay, cool. Okay, cool.
So you give it an extra 100 years. It was set in the late 17th.
Sorry, I see costume dramas and it all just kind of like blurs.
Yeah. It's supposed to be Georgian. It's like, I think 50 years before Bridgerton.
Okay, all right.
Supposed to be. And they were like the panniers, they were like the wigs, that's a completely different look. We got Victorian, we did not get Georgian costume.
Okay. All right. So okay, that's been 15 minutes, and I can see that you have so much more yet to say about this book.
Continuing on the WhatsApp group.
We'll continue on the WhatsApp group. I mean, I personally, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the box office for this film for the next couple of weeks, because I think the box office would tell. I think that's what's going to tell you whether Emerald Fennell has been successful in what she's been trying to do or not. Because I feel like you, and even hearing her speak about it, you are not her target audience for this film. I feel like her target audience, the fact that she's got Jacob Elordi in there, her target audience is 14-year-old girls probably, and the fact that it's been released in half term and all that. So there's a lot of things that make me think that her target audience is people who are a lot younger, people who probably haven't read the book. I would say definitely people who haven't read the book, and I feel like the next couple of weeks would tell us if she has been successful in hitting that target audience. But having
one more thing that's incredibly annoying.
Yep.
Kathy is meant to, by the end of this part of the film, be 18, and Heathcliff should be maybe 19. Now, and that's really important to the characterizations as well, and to how they behave, because they are also stroppy teenagers. And suddenly you have Margot Robbie, who is a very beautiful 35-year-old, and Jacob Elordi, who is a very attractive 28-year-old. They're lovely looking people. They are not convincing as people in their late teens, and moving this to an older generation and making the characters older takes away some of the stuff.
Yeah, making Edgar that bit older as well. Again, he's supposed to be sort of quite young and youthful, and Isabella is young and youthful. They're all in their sort of, they're all of an age. Yeah, so to age them up that much, it doesn't work.
Okay,
doesn't work.
All right. I look forward to going there and being in the same boat as Jess and going, that was all right. Maybe I'll read the book now. Only problem is that I've read synopses, I've seen other things, and I don't think I'm ever reading that book. So and I also will say that I do feel like a more faithful adaptation of Wuthering Heights would not have moved the needle as much as what she's done. I don't think it would not have gotten as much buzz. It would not have gotten. It would not have. This leads me on to the next question. Essentially, I don't think it would have warranted being in the cinema or warranted even getting a crowd. But so the next question, what we started saying here is, do you think that you should watch this film in the cinema, or you should wait until it shows up on a streaming platform?
I think it's quite cinematic in that it's big. So
I know your answer is probably don't watch this film ever, but
no, I have got versions of Wuthering Heights that are television ones, because it's a complex story, and that they are like 6 hours long, and I think that probably suits it better to do it in as a part work, as a series. And there's a really good one that has got young Matthew McFadden in it as Hareton, and that I think does quite a good job of it. So it can be done. It's just, I don't think, for me, this wasn't it. But I would say, it's quite cinematic.
So you'd say go see it in the cinema?
Yeah.
Yep. Holly?
Yeah, I think I'd agree. If you want to watch it and you're okay with it, even either you've read the book or you don't mind that you're really going to see something different, or you haven't read the book, and say it's a well-shot, dramatic-looking film. The fact that we didn't like it doesn't mean it's a failure of cinematography, and actually, arguably, Emerald Fennell has achieved what she set out to, because she's going to make a lot of money out of it. And the fact that we dislike it is part of what's fueling her making a lot of money.
I would not argue with that. Yeah. So okay, so that's it. So you would say go see it in the cinema. How many stars would you give this?
I think I'm going to give it a 2.5 personally, because I didn't think it was a very good film. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. It didn't generate enough.
But your dislike of the film is, I feel like, inextricably linked to the fact that it's, the source material and you know how much they've changed it.
And I'm not sure that I would have liked it anyway. For me, it was just, I didn't think it was very good. So for me, I would give it a 2.5, I think.
Okay. Holly?
I would do the same.
All right, cool.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's well shot. I think the acting is good. I think the script leaves much to be desired. So I didn't think it was very good, but I did think it was very beautiful.
Cool. So 2.5 stars for Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights. I'm trying to figure out the best way of saying the quotation marks in a sentence. If someone isn't looking at you doing the quotation marks in your face.
Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering Heights.
Yeah, I think that's probably about right, actually.
Wuthering Heights?
Wuthering Heights.
It's like, is that you? That you look different.
Someone else has said online the Kate Bush song arguably did a better job of representing the book than this film did.
Because there's none of the spirituality of it, was there? There's none of the ghost, and there's that sense of other, which I think really is throughout the book. We didn't even go into that. So
the good lines came from the book.
So let me put it this way. And Holly, you say that, and I think Emerald Fennell agrees with you. Reading between the lines, she agrees with you about the Kate Bush song compared to what she's done. she has pretty much said, no, this isn't a faithful adaptation. This isn't I think she's pretty much said, this isn't a good adaptation. This is just me doing what the hell I want to do.
Get ready yourself some more bleeping no shit.
and seeing as it's the film business, I think she might be onto something. I think she might be onto something. But then again, this is a book that I do not understand why it's that celebrated. But anyway, my
it's just a very good book of not cross-generational trauma, misery, set in a pretty miserable part of the world with very poor weather conditions.
I know. I mean, why? Never mind. Let's move on. Because the
volunteers didn't have very much to do, and they all died terribly young, mostly of TB/consumption.
That's all well and good, but I just, my thing is not about whether the book's good or not. It's about why it has endured so much and why it has been held over and over all these generations as this classic, when all it is just everyone dies in the end. But
it's a very impressive depiction of multi-generational trauma and how appalling human beings can be to each other.
And God knows we need to celebrate that.
Redemption.
Yeah, and I think it is tied to the author, to the landscape. So, because I think when people look at Emily Bronte, they think, how could that book come about of that landscape and that person, this quiet, shy, painfully shy child of the vicarage who lives on the edge of the moors? It's like you wouldn't expect that sort of book to come out of a vicarage, basically, a Victorian. And you look at her, and she's like very slight. They're all tiny. And she was really antisocial. So it's like such passion coming out of someone who doesn't look that passionate. But her poetry, please, if you do anything, read Emily Bronte's poetry. Please.
Okay. It's okay, fine. At least it'll be shorter than Wuthering Heights. So let us go on to